Hi guys, this is Dr. Kimberly Olson, but I'm coming to you today just as a fellow Succession fan. I've had a lot of thoughts and feelings since the season finale on Sunday and found myself pretty emotional about it. And I noticed that my husband was emotional about it too, which was odd. We don't tend to get real caught up in TV shows and things like that, but this one left us both with a very heavy heart. So I started thinking about what that was about, why it hit us so hard. And I ended up back at the very first episode. If you recall the first episode, it looked like Kendall was going to be taking over, that he was in line for that. In fact, if you remember, Logan sort of ended up seeing a cover of a magazine with his son on it. And I think that stirred his feelings, his ego, his narcissism. And he took that from Kendall in the most cruel way possible. If you remember that exchange, there was nothing subtle about it. It was completely cutthroat down to the core. And so we watched Kendall get kicked for the first time in the series, beat down. And I think, in a very real sense, Kendall is us, that we've all been beaten down. We've all been kicked down. But most of us get up and we try to swing again, right? And don't we always root for the person that gets up and keeps going and keeps trying, even though they've been knocked down over and over again? And so we continue to watch the series, and every time Kendall gets close, he either sabotages himself or he's sabotaged by somebody else. And so again, kicked and kicked and kicked. And this last episode, I think we needed him to win. That's not what the writers needed. The writers needed to stay true to their narrative and this whole Shakespearean tragedy. I get all of that. I really do. But I think what we needed was for him to win. See, he got so close. And we have been on this journey with him of watching him get kicked over and over and over again. And then when he's this close to achieving what he's been fighting for the whole time, his family turns on him like a pack of dogs. And I'm thinking to the scene with Shiv and Roman and Kendall. And the first thing she says to him is, "Well, you murdered someone." Now, if you remember when that disclosure was made, it was in a moment of intense vulnerability. And even if we're looking at this critically, it wasn't murder by classic definition. Of course, it was accidental, it was manslaughter. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't count. What I am saying, though, is that it wasn't malicious intent. And to take that shot, that dagger, when he is down, to bring him down that much further, that was a really sharp sword. And when he wasn't buying that, then she went after his capability. I don't think he'd be good for the job. Okay. And as far as anyone who comes by a position like that via succession, we all sort of know Kendall is probably the best fit for that of the three. Shiv just simply cannot be trusted. And of course, Roman, while we all love him, we know that he sort of lacks the maturity for a position like that. And Kendall could have done it. I don't know that he would have been his dad. I'm not sure that I wanted him to be his dad, but he certainly could have done it. And I see dynamically the fears, but I also think that these are things that could have been addressed and worked through. Now, instead of building him up, Roman then goes after his kids in the most cutthroat way that you can. So they take him in his moment of victory. And yes, he was smug and he shouldn't have been smug about it. And they tear him down to absolute bottom, to the point where I wasn't sure that he wasn't going to go to the roof and jump off. As he was walking into the park, I wasn't sure what was going to happen next, because everything that he had been working for, his purpose, was taken from him. And it was taken from him by the very people who were supposed to love him. And I understand it. And I understand the idea of tragedy. But I think we needed Kendall to win. Everybody who's out there putting up a good fight, who continues to get up despite being knocked down over and over again, we needed a victory. See, Kendall's victory was our victory. And his downfall was our downfall. And while, again, brilliant writing, brilliant story, it did leave everyone with just a little less hope. That's how I felt about it. If you have differing feelings, that's okay too. Feel free to comment, just as long as you're respectful. I'm more than happy to talk with you about that. Thank you so much.